What's
Uh-oh.
up with it?
You always
Two step in the name of like. Okay, not in the name of love. Okay.
I mean, love is very powerful. So
right.
if you two stepping in the name of love, that's a good thing.
It's all
You
right.
know, it ain't got to be about Robert Kelly, sir.
I mean, we kind of, Robert Kelly is a little.
There's a part 3.
A part 3 of what?
R. Kelly.
Oh, he got a lot of part 3s. You got.
No, that's true.
You got to be clear.
There's a part 3 of like the story of you know how they had part 1 and 2 of the girls and all that stuff going on. There's a part 3 now.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. There's probably a lot of parts.
I don't know. I just seen a thing. I think on Netflix or something. It was like an ad. No, it was an ad on Lifetime.
Well, Lifetime, how they do you.
They're gonna keep it going.
Lifetime digs. They're gonna find it. And they're gonna hire the worst people to play you in whatever show that they have. So shout out to Lifetime.
I mean, maybe one day we'll be on there. No. I don't want to be on Lifetime.
I don't want to be on Lifetime because either you died, you got raped,
is a documentary.
No. I don't want to be on
No. I'm sorry. No, we don't want to be on Lifetime. But I mean, y'all can't cut the check, I mean, hey. And you wouldn't want the check, Ken?
We'll definitely advertise for you, but
I'll advertise any show they got. But
I definitely Lifetime had. You know what? I'm gonna say this, and some women out there gonna get mad at me. Some of you ladies, because you are the greatest viewership of Lifetime. How do y'all sit there and watch those movies time after time after time, and it's the same kind of theme, like the chick getting killed by her husband, and then or she getting abused, and then she killing him. It's like it's kind of like people.
I think they be finding out ways to, you know what I'm saying, do little stuff.
You watch the ID channel to figure out how to kill somebody.
See, there you go. Patricia had the guts to say it. I was trying to dance around.
The only reason why Lifetime is on in my house is because my daughter watches Dance Moms, and it's on Lifetime.
Oh. So that's I don't even know what Dance Mom is.
It's exactly what it is. Dance Moms.
Dance Moms dancing. You mean like twerking, shaking their
No, they're a dance mom, like a soccer mom, a football mom.
Okay. I thought we was see some twerking, like some Cardi B or something. I don't know.
Now, why would I have my daughter watching that?
Right.
Angie?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we talking about family hurt today. We got all kinds of folks doing weird things. Well, okay. I'm glad you're protecting the baby. Okay, shout out to you.
Absolutely. We don't do that.
I'm gonna tell you what though, a channel I am addicted to, and I'm proud to say I'm addicted to the HG channel. You know what I'm saying?
It's not
I say HG channel, sir. Yeah, Home and Garden. I like to watch
I love that channel.
The renovations and things like that. My favorite show is Lover to Listed. So I'm a avid viewer of that and getting ideas of home improvements. So yeah, but when it comes to shows, like a lot of those shows on Lifetime, I have a certain level in which I can go to watch it for a little while, even if it's a decent, but it's just I can't have that in my spirit. I can't keep consuming that, right? Because
I got a confession, if you can stand it. I used to watch America's Next Top Model. That would be my Saturday.
Benji, you got a model walk.
Benji got a model walk. Ain't that
got a big practice on my way. I don't know.
Well, hold on though,
man.
That's what a dude was trying to talk to you.
Wow! I felt that was coming.
Everything comes full circle. We find out.
I felt that was coming.
The Fiyah Session, we gonna figure it out.
Ooh.
I almost said something.
Well, hold on though. We know somebody on here got a model walk. Doc got a model walk because if you go to her IG, Doc got a model walk.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. We ain't gonna let her just skate past that. We didn't see that. She.
Okay. I got the model walk.
When you learned
her runway because she was wild.
I started modeling at 16.
Yeah, she did tell us that on the episode. Okay, she did tell us she was into the modeling.
Okay, going on with your bad self. Modeling and walking. Let me see you walk.
If Benji walks real quick, can you critique it? So
yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow! Don't do it, bro.
You want to walk first, real quick, Benji?
Don't do it.
The devil is a lie. I tell you one thing I will do.
If you do that, his family gonna be hurt.
I will walk in the bedroom and handle my business. That's one thing I will do.
What? Why?
Wah, wah.
I got 2 ladies on the show, man. I can't even come back like I want to. I got to be respectable. See, Patricia, you see how you just be putting me in a bad spot. See, I don't appreciate it.
Life is full of choices. You choose to say the stuff you say.
Okay. All right, y'all. Before we jump into the topip, we gotta go.
Get you in the backstage.
We gotta check on our people. We got Dr. Chi with us today. Dr. O, Dr. Got a lot of names, got a lot of certificates behind.
Dr. Walk.
And she's also a model, and she's also everything. You know what I'm saying? She's a Swiss Army knife of things. Doc, how you doing today? And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Today's been good. The weather is trash out here in LA. It's raining.
I was gonna say, where you at?
Yeah, in LA is bad. How's it out there?
It's trash. It's the same.
You got trash too?
Yeah, it's raining. It's raining outside.
Hey, I was in Florida for a few days and it wasn't raining, so I had to come back to this. So it's a little,
Welcome back. Still the same.
I've been trying to make me feel happy now after you just done. Forget you. I ain't talking to you for the rest of the show.
I'm unforgettable.
That part. Tell her.
Okay. I'm unforgettable, Benji.
Doc's good. Trisha Michelle, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm always great. That's all. That's it. That's everything.
Don't let her say much today, Ken. Mute her mic.
Nah, I can't do that.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, Benji, I figured it was worth a shot.
Right.
Benji, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I feel refreshed, man. Came back from Tampa, St. Pete. I see why Tom Brady went to Tampa. I see why.
The weather's amazing, huh?
It's beautiful out there, man. And LAX, I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. I went to Tampa, and listen, man, you ain't gotta ask for nothing. Everything is just so clear. It's like, do this here, do that. If you can read just a little bit, you can get it done. And it was the train take you from one here to there. You ain't got to walk 10 miles to get to your terminal. Train, like it was beautiful. And there's some dope restaurants and some dope spots out there. So it was pretty legit. So
good, man. Well, I went to Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Birthday.
It was cold.
Well, it was cold, but it was cold here in Dallas too. So it wasn't too much of a difference. Actually, it was, between 40 and 30 there, and it was between the upper 30s and some days in the 50s here. So It wasn't too much of a difference because I can't lie to you. Actually, on the way back, when I stepped off the plane, that air hit you when you step off the plane, and it was colder here than it was in Boston when I came back.
So, I mean, weather's just bipolar everywhere right now, man.
Yeah,
like Cali got all this rain.
It definitely is, man. But the trip was dope. Got to see the Basketball Hall of Fame, so I got to check that off the bucket list. Right. So that was very dope. And I got some shots up in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So it was the first time I shot a basketball in about 4 months. So
you know what, man? I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud that you picked the ball back up and got some shots in. I'm happy for you. I thought you was gonna get old on us and not pick the ball up ever again. Now, did you feel the urge to kind of hit across at all? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, not at all. Because my ankle, my Achilles is still not there, and I know that, and it's evident when I walk. So I didn't have that need, but just to be able to get some shots up was dope. So I appreciated that opportunity. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. The topic today is family hurt, and it's one of those topics that we were talking about in our brainstorming time, and it affects everybody, right? Everybody has something go on in their family that has caused them some type of trauma, or they have a family member that's toxic that you can't seem to shake, and you don't know how to deal with the situation because all too often in the Black community, we're just taught to deal with it. That's your cousin. You got to love them, so deal with it. So even if they toxic, I got to figure out how to make this relationship work. And in my estimation, in my 43 years of life now, I don't think that's such a wise idea.
Yeah, I think if we had some numbers on that, if people were willing to, I don't know, I haven't Googled it or anything. Yeah, that's horrible advice, man. Like there's some stuff I live with that I wish I would have said without, but it's like, it's crazy, man. No way you should hold certain things in. But we find ourselves protecting other people's feelings as well a lot of times in situations like that. So it's a slippery slope, but we're here tonight to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, in my research, we're going to let Doc speak because she's the expert here. But in my research, I found out that a lot of these family hurt issues are rooted in people's childhood, and it just continues to grow with them as they live. And that's part of the problem, right? Like you become immune to it, or over time, or you just get used to it and you just function in it, and you functioning in dysfunction. And you're so used to it that, as I think one of my mentors used to tell me, you're gonna keep hugging that cactus, or you're gonna let it go.
Right.
Because when you hugging on to that loved one that's causing you hurt and pain, they're just like hugging a cactus.
Right.
Right. And at some point in time, you gotta make a decision whether you're gonna continue to do that and hurt yourself. You're gonna have to figure out how to let go.
Yeah. Now that's gotta be tough for a mom, though, right, Patricia? That's got to be tough, Doctor. That's got to be tough for a mom if you're a mom, and let's say, just hypothetically, because I like watching horror films. What if your son was Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy? Like, what do you do as a mom in that situation, in something like that, right? It's just ultimately crazy. That's your baby, though.
I mean, I ain't got to deal with that. But I mean, I have a family member that definitely attempted murder and arson on a family member.
Right.
Wow.
And so everybody was upset at first until we got to really know the deeper rooted situation. And there was 2 victims in this scenario. So he was also one, and being bipolar schizophrenic, that's how he thought he was that was his only way out. His mind told him, this is out. This is what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he did. But before really analyzing it, we just living our daily lives. We're not even thinking about anything like that. So we don't know that that's what that person's truly going through or feeling deep down inside. So when it happened, everybody was upset. But I mean, I came to understand him more. I don't hate him. I actually talk to him. He'll call me or whatever, because he is in jail. But he'll call me and we'll still talk and all that good stuff. So, but as far as like a mother with like Leatherface or something, I don't know.
That's tough, right?
I don't know how you still hold
extreme.
on.
That's right. That's extreme, but even to a degree from a lesser state. I mean, you could think of a lot of heinous things that people have done over time, right? Like, where does the balance come in, Doc? Because you got to prescribe and help some of these people with these types of issues. Is it just put them in jail? Like, how do you handle it even from a clinical standpoint?
Well, from a clinical standpoint, it's like she was saying, is the root to everything. Where was the seed planted? Because like you said, there is 2 victims. When you're looking on the outside, you only see the actions. You don't see what led to it. And so in our side, we're going to the seed. Where did it even start from? And then, like you said earlier, Ken, it's a lot of it starts from childhood. Some type of abuse happened that led this person. Majority of the time, if someone's out there doing abuse, it's probably some type of trauma like that happened to them, right? When you see a lot of people that sexually abuse somebody, more than likely they were sexually abused. It's like the whole saying, hurt people.
Right.
Right. And so on our end, we're going to do the entire assessment where we can't look how the public looks at the person as if we're just seeing the results of the abuse or the things that happened that led to the problem. So when you guys are like just people that are not clinically looking, you're just seeing the court case and this is what was done, and that's it. And then we go into straight judgment. And it like you were saying earlier, it could be something mentally that was going on where those voices are saying, do this, do that. And then that chemically imbalanced situation is what occurred. So we get deeper into everything.
That's pretty crazy, man, because when we get into the personal side of it, knowing that we have family members who have done some of this stuff, and I know for a fact some, my folks never said anything. They always covered it up. You get what I'm saying? So that could be pretty crazy. So you're dealing with people who are living with these hurts, also dishing it out, and then there's no consequence, so to speak, for it. So they just continue to do whatever that they are allowed to do. So where do you stop it? How do you get up that boldness, Ken, to say, you know what, I'm done with this? Because nobody told us a lot of times how to stand up for ourselves, right?
Well, I think, number one, we're going to get to that. I have that question on here, but we want to build up to that because there are some things that we're going to have to break down on the way there that's going to be important pieces to being able to say, okay, this is the stopping point, or this is where we get off. Because like Doc said, if you have a family member and they have some real mental health issues, you can't approach that situation like you can't approach this other situation with somebody else that doesn't have those same set of issues, right? So you gotta, everything has to be taken into consideration, person by person case.
Yeah.
So because for me, like I said, I have family members that not that I know of that have mental health issues, but I know some of them just wild out. So I know it's certain things when I see them, it's, love them from a distance. What's up, cuz? What's good with you? You know what I'm saying? You good? All right. And now I'm going the opposite direction because we ain't on the same page. Like when we kids, it's different. And I think that's the painful part of when you grow up with people and family, friends, relatives, or whatever, and you've been around them your whole life and you start changing and they change. You want to love this person because you're loving the person that you knew, not the person that they are now. In a lot of cases. So when you get to know the person that they are now, you kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you know this is a little bit too much.
Look, Kirk then grew up and he on some other stuff, right? That's my cousin. I love him.
Yeah, he on some other stuff for real.
Yeah, when I see him, it's all right, player. You know what I'm saying? I'm holler at you because you got some bad energy with you. Yeah. So I gotta notice that. And that's the first thing for me is to notice, you know what I'm saying, what the issue may be. Because if I'm a person, that I like when I approach people, like I can feel a certain energy, right? If you got negative energy, if you got something about you, it just speaks to me right away. And then I, remove myself. I guess judge people by their situations. I try to show love to everybody, but that's gotten me into trouble. Right? Because I put myself in situations that I know I probably shouldn't be in because I'm trying to show this person love, because I'm trying to be a family member or a friend. And sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself and say, you know what?
Mistake, right?
It's time for us to move on, right? I love you, but I'm going to have to love you from a distance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and like I was saying earlier, a lot of that stuff is rooted in childhood, traumas and things that happen in your childhood. So like Doc was saying, if somebody's molested and they grow up, a lot of times those people, they grow up and they repeat the cycle.
Yeah. Right.
So they see somebody else do it. So
yeah, well, if it happened to them, for them, it might be in their mind, it might be okay. Like they've given themselves the okay that, what, this happened to me. So, I'm gonna do it to somebody else. Now, Doc, you can talk about that because I don't understand the I guess the mindset of somebody did it to me, so I'm gonna hurt somebody else. Like I just can't understand that mindset.
And it's not always that they're doing this to someone else. It goes back to what you said, that they don't see it as wrong. when you're a child,
Right.
you're very impressionable, meaning that you're just a child. I call it domestication, right? A parent may have anxiety, and as a kid, you see your parent constantly in a state of anxiety. So you look to the parent and you're like, okay. And then you're like, okay, that's normal because my mom did it. And then you talk to them. Oh, because my mom was always like that. Oh, and my mom was like that. So it's something that has passed down because that's just been the trait or characteristic that has been passed down. So if a child is sexually abused and never talked about it, no one ever said they're wrong. Or I have a lot of people that do speak up and they'll say, no, it's your fault. You did wrong. And, or they feel like, okay, this is what love looks like. So when someone is doing it to someone else, it could be several different reasons. I was shown that that's what love is. My father abused me, but they didn't see it as abuse, right? I thought that was normal, right? Yeah. And it could be also, I have someone, or I had a patient that was sexually abused in the sense of being shown pornography, did get touched on and stuff like that, but he became more of a sex addict. It wasn't even in the sense of touching someone else. It was now I'm hypersexual because I grew up with all that constantly on me.
Yeah.
I don't even understand why I was being shown that, but that triggers something to now I'm like this. And it may not ever been to touch on someone else. It's just now I cheat on my wife or I cheat on my girlfriend because I have to have sex. That's just all I've seen or what was done to me. And now I'm just like that. So it can go so many ways. It's not cookie cutter to say I was sexually abused, so I'm going to sexually abuse someone else. It could be hurting yourself. It could be hurting other people in that aspect. But everything comes from us, not everything. I don't want to say everything because in mental health, nothing is everything. But it's a lot of domestication of what I've been seeing. You see kids watching Coco Lemon. The stuff they watch on Coco Lemon, they repeat the stuff on Coco Lemon.
Right.
Or whatever these kids, this shows. I don't have to get
Coco Melon.
Coco Melon, because you know they're going to come for you. They're going to come for you for the show. Like, don't you say they show right.
I don't know what fruit they watch, but I know the kids. Or whatever they're watching on YouTube, because I know my niece, I'll watch her, and she's just watching this thing, and you take it away, and they're crying. Yeah. But you repeat the stuff outside of them watching it, and they can repeat it exactly. So that it's like soaking up a sponge. So just think about it as you're growing up. These things are being a part of you, and as a parent, you're a teacher, or as adults, we are seen as teacher for kids. So they take on all these lessons, and it becomes part of life. So it's just it's domestication.
It could be weird, and I understand that part because coming up, where we come up in the drug culture, like, you saw so-and-so do it. You saw so-and-so pimping. You saw your uncle do this. You saw that. So that's what you figure is what you're supposed to do. You get what I'm saying? Like you're trying to imitate because one, it looks super cool. So we didn't know really what morals really were at that point. So we thought it was morally right to do a woman that way or to treat a woman that way or handle her this way. And in most of those cases, most of those women who got turned out, so to speak, they were influenced by somebody else. So and then you just pass it along because that's what works. That's what you figure what works. And if it's working for you, like, why would I change the idea of it? It could be totally wrong, but from a moral standpoint, it works. So why do I need to change it up? So what's right to me doesn't necessarily have to be right to you. And if you push that narrative long enough, where do your boundaries come in at? You'll go for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you look up to those people. If I'm from the streets, I'm from Dallas too. And I remember back in the day, you used to have, I don't know about y'all, but you used to have a play mama. You did.
Yeah.
I had a play mama.
Yeah, I used to have
play sister or whoever. Like,
my play mama taught me how to hold a glass wine. A glass for wine, and had wine in it. And I'm a kid. Why are you teaching me that? But I remember that. And so to this day, I hold my wine glass the way she taught me that. Because I look up to her. I looked up to her as an adult, somebody that I wanted to be like, right? So just the same thing with the drugs. You looked up to these kids on the block or these adults, and they told you, hey, do it like this, do it like that. And you wanted to impress them. You wanted to be like, oh, like you can hang now. I want to be a part of something. And so then you do those things to be a part of this tribe. Because as a kid, the social aspect is the most important thing. They're not thinking about jobs, money. It's social, it's friends. Where is my tribe? Where do I belong? And so they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to fit into that tribe.
Right.
I can't lie to you. As a kid, like I ain't gonna shout out none of my cousins by name, but you know, I was one of those kids where I had a bunch of older male cousins, and you know, the first thing they do when they see me, Lil Red, how many girlfriends you got? How many girlfriends you got? You know, so as a kid, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm supposed to have multiple girlfriends, right?
I'm lacking.
So yeah, I'm supposed to have multiple. So as I get older and I'm dating this girl and I'm talking to this girl, like it's seeming to be a problem with them. But I'm like, where's the problem?
Normal.
Like I'm not.
This is normal.
Yeah, like I'm not married, so I'm supposed to have multiple girlfriends. That's what, you know. That's the thing. But like
until
you said,
you find out that 4 of them is a problem.
young and impressionable, right? That stuff is rooted in our childhoods,
right.
And as we get older, you know, we have some options to say, you know what, I realize the error in my ways. I'm going to correct it, or I'm just going to continue to perpetuate the same activity, and you know, see where it leads me. And I think that's where, you know, that fork in the road comes, and people don't even realize it's a fork in the road.
But how is that fork in the road even created? Because if you've been doing for something for so long, that's why like women will say a man's not mature until he's in his 40s. Who's corrected the mistake from a long time ago?
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't get it corrected until like, this is not right. I should have multiple women.
And some people don't want to change, especially if it's working for them,
if
right?
you've been doing something for so long, it is hard to change. Think about when someone, okay, now I'm going to go start working out. It's time. Okay, how long does it take for you to truly be consistent with that? And are you really consistent before you fall off and say, all right, I'm going to do this again? Because you've been doing this habit for so long that it's become part of you, that it takes a long time of consistency to say, now this is a lifestyle. You made that bad habit a lifestyle, and you made it.
Been eating chitlins for a long time.
Ew.
You've been cheating. You've been with a lot of women. Look at the guy that told you to do that, and then you look to, okay, did you have a lot of women for you to be teaching me that? Yeah. And so now you think that it's okay, and no one stopped you to say, hey, Ken, you know that's not right. And then like, oh, this is not right.
Like, hold on, what you mean this ain't right? I've been pimping since I was.
But see, for me, it didn't become an issue until the young lady said it's an issue. Because if they wouldn't have never said anything, I just would have continued perpetuating.
If the girl went along with it, like it's cool as long as he
the creatures of the world.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, that's what I was used to. And then that's what I saw. I saw my cousins, you know what I'm saying, and other family members and friends have multiple women. So, you know, when you go to family function and he got a new girlfriend this week, like I'm just used to seeing it. So it's like
supposed to have a new one on your hip. Especially if she's fine, right?
And see how he hyped you up? It doesn't help. Hype up, and you was like, all right, I knew I was doing something right.
No doubt.
It doesn't help that the traumas are like lived on in the entertainment world too, because Nick Cannon and P. Diddy and all these people with all these different women and wives and stuff, there's some type of something somewhere that's telling them they need these different girlfriends and this and that they're dealing with some hurt, some pain, some hole they feeling. And it's glorified. So not only is it taught to us through whatever our, you know, people we look up to, then it's also entertainment people that other kids and these teens are looking up to. So they want to be like Nick Cannon. They want to like whatever they think is okay.
They want to be Nick Cannon with not Nick Cannon money.
No Nick Cannon money.
Facts.
I mean, you go way back. You can go, you know, your boy Solomon had, you know, 1,000 of them joints.
You ain't Solomon, okay?
Do you want to go back to because
right? You know, but you can easily justify. And this is the one thing I found is you can easily justify any behavior. It's easier to justify it than correcting it. Correcting it takes work. I can easily justify why I want to do a thing, especially if it works. If I've been scamming people for a long time and I'm telling you this gonna work, SVB, these banks, all of this, they've been high leveraging themselves for years, right? And so when they finally crumble, we got an issue. But they've been running scams for years and years and years, and it's been working for them. So you can easily justify the why. You get what I'm saying? So, but I think the hardest part again is like, you know what? Dang, I need to correct this behavior or challenge myself to be something different. And that's where I think most people have an issue with. They don't really want to change. The average person doesn't really want to change or evolve into something new. So they'd just rather stay the same.
I think it's deeper than that, because you could say you want to change, but what if you yourself don't even know the reason why you are that way?
Or how.
And so there was a lot of things like I used to lie. Like
you used to be mean, from what I understand.
I'm mean still.
Yes.
And that's okay. But I used to lie like for no reason. Like, and it was, anxiety driven, or the pressures or fear and all these things. And it's like, well, why am I this way? Or what am I trying to hide? So I had to dig deeper within my past, my childhood, my cards that I was dealt, things that I dealt with that I was trying to just make disappear. So I would lie. And
so when did deliverance come, huh? Talk to us.
Well, no, I think
who brought it to your memory? Was it a person? Was it a loved one? What created the change?
So it was the person that I was with, and we were together for like 3 years. And we had our own like little situations that would occur with little lies or whatever. And he was just like, what's going on? Like, you need to figure out, you need to forgive yourself. You need to go look and dig deep. And I was like, I did. And there was things that I didn't like about myself, that I didn't like about what I had dealt with. And I had to go dig deep within myself. And it was a long, nice little journey to figure out all my own things that I went through that I was trying to, blanket over or cover up. And I was like six years ago.
So you got dumped, huh?
No, actually.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
I dumped him, but no, he's a very, very like influential person in my life though, because of that and a lot of things that like he's helped me to like just my aha moments, deliverance, and just digging deeper into who I am as a person. He helped me grow a lot. So when you have somebody like that, maybe we're not meant to be together, but
yeah,
meant to be in my life to drive me, to motivate me, to help me always think deeper than the surface. So he's been an asset like that in my life.
Wow, you do listen to other people. I am proud of you.
Well, like they say, people
as long as they're not running around with Benji mouth.
Wow. Like they say, people in your life.
I'm also unforgettable as well. I just want you to know that.
Well, like they say,
and bad ways.
Yes, I like to keep a 50-50, good and bad. I don't like to just be remembered for being good. I like to throw a little bit of
Benji was sauce in there. Now he's a bully. And so I'm gonna have to get him.
Y'all have a toxic relationship. Definitely.
I can admit.
That's the homie.
Doc agrees. She said, yeah.
Definitely. These two.
Y'all need therapy.
Yeah.
Hurt.
She said, yeah, someone hurt. Benji hurts. I'm gonna hurt him in a minute.
All right. So as we were discussing, like the stuff is rooted in childhood. I always have my trusty notes. Y'all already know Ken keep notes.
And got notes.
So what I found is, that the family hurt is rooted in childhood traumas. And I have a few examples here. So people, if you're not sure where your childhood traumas and things may have been rooted, listen to these reasons. Some of you all, this is going to pinpoint, right? This is going to hit home for some of y'all.
Right.
The first one on the list is held to unrealistic expectations. Some of us as kids felt the pressure of, being held to unrealistic expectations because you had older siblings and your older siblings were like these great kids, or maybe they were not so great, but your parents used them as a measuring stick and held you to those expectations, whether they be good or bad. So, that puts a lot of pressure on kids and causes some trauma there. They got parentification. Okay, that's when the parent and child roles are reversed. So in some I've seen it in some households, the kids run the house. The kids do everything. The parents do absolutely nothing. Right? I've seen situations where the daughter, young lady I dated when I was younger, she would cook, she would clean, she would take care of her younger siblings. Her mother did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So for her, she grew up too soon. She had too much responsibility, wasn't able to enjoy her childhood. And when she became an adult, it's things that she missed out. And a lot of times, hey, that kind of twists things up a little bit. So your emotional needs were unmet. That's a lot of us. That's a lot of us, especially men.
Yeah.
Because for us, like my dad's military and my grandfather's military. So their mindset is totally different. Like I can tell you that my dad never gave me a hug or never said, I love you or those type of things because nobody did that for him. So, I understood that as I became a grown man, but as a child, that affected me negatively. Right. So for me, when I had my sons, I knew I had to change that. So I knew I had to make a conscious effort to do those things to make sure that they don't have those same voids.
Yeah.
The last two on the list, seeing chronic conflict. A lot of people had that in their home, watch their parents, watch their siblings, watch family members constantly go through conflict, and that negatively affected them. And the last one on the list is the verbal, physical, or emotional abuse.
I think a lot of people check that one too.
Yeah. I think if you're human, you probably had one of these 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a combination.
Or a combination.
Or a combination for sure.
Yeah, that's why I had on here and or because you know what I'm saying, because a lot of us probably have endured a lot as a kid and didn't know the ramifications of it or the effects until we became adults.
Yeah.
But you can't go back and change it. So the only way you can fix it is through, some therapy, some counseling and things like that to kind of help, unpack that stuff. So Doc, do you have a lot of people that come to you with these childhood deep-rooted issues and you find out that that's part of the biggest part of their issues?
Absolutely. I think majority of people, whether they come in one way, because I'm just a person that likes to find the seed. So regardless of what you're coming in for, I always think that going backwards can close some doors to help you reach your full potential anyways. Yeah. Whether you come in for grief, come in for depression, come in for anxiety, something has happened in the past that a lot of people need healing from and don't recognize it. And so all the things you've listed, I've experienced every single one of them with majority of my patients. So that was a great list where a lot of family hurt starts from.
Yeah,
especially the reversal role. I have a lot of kids that are suffering now, even while being teens, because of being basically trained to be a parent and becoming the parent and going through stuff too early in life and
growing up fast, right?
Up too fast and not being able to experience the childhood, and a lot of resentment is formed there for the parents and even the kids that they had to take care of, especially talk to like someone that's the oldest child that has a lot of siblings. They will always complain that I had to do this, I had to help my mom do this, I had to do, because they're a kid, yet they had to go into that parenting role, whether it was help me change your brother's diaper or get the food for them. They still had to kind of grow up and become an adult faster because of this other sibling. And that's where you see that eldest child look to their sibling with a little bit of resentment.
No, I can relate to that because my brother was that for me. When we were coming up, we came up rough, man. Like it was crazy. The whole drug culture, family wilding out. It was just, it's crazy. But he mentioned something to me that when I came in the picture, he literally had to kind of grow up faster because there was no babysitter. Mama was out hustling. So he had to watch me. And he was the 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid watching his little baby brother. You get what I'm saying? So he had to grow up super fast. But he also mentioned that he had to kind of take on a role in terms of the stuff that was being passed down. So if you can imagine a kid who's being told, to watch out for, this or something related to drugs or something related to killing or things of that nature. He's a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid and he can't talk about any of this stuff, but it's being passed down to him. Mm-hmm. So he knows the details on how mama was murdered, how this happened, how that happened, and he can't say nothing. But yet and still, as a 12-year-old, he has to process all of this and then look out for me. And then I remember him saying he actually, that's why he used to beat me up all the time, like fight me and throw me in the deep end, throw me in a 12-foot water and all of that type of stuff, right? Because he was under this crazy amount of pressure that was being passed down. So he had to instantly become an adult. And I thought that was interesting because as he got older, he eventually he was just like, forget it. F it. Rebellion. And he just went on a rampage because he felt like he did all of that anyway and he ended up losing it. So that drove him over the edge. So it's like, whatever. So now you got, your older brother trying to figure it out later in life. Normally you would want to look to him for advice, right? Mm-hmm. But you have somebody that's much older than you trying to find their way and deal with their demons in 48, 50, close to 50 years old. So it can be rather challenging. So, but seeing him improve without the therapy, I think it's pretty dope though. So, but I mean, it's crazy to see that from a young boy to now to an adult to actually witness it and recognize it. It can be crazy.
I mean, I think I went through it, but without resenting anything. Because my mom, early teens, she got into drugs. And so I ended up stepping up being the mom. The mom. Well, my dad was at the house, but he was disabled basically from a total hip replacement and all this stuff. He got thrown off a motorcycle way back and basically wasn't doing too much. So I was the one that took over the household from my little brother, my little sister. I never resented them though, or my parents. So I don't know what happened there, but I did take over I basically left sometimes to go to her to make sure she was okay. Like I felt like I had to make sure everybody was safe. Like I had to take care of everybody. And I think I did that for so long, for so many years, until I finally detached myself to where I could try to figure out taking care of myself. But then through all of that, I had all these different situations that I went through on my own that I was, put into early. I had my son at 17 and I'm already an adult anyway. And I'm just all this other stuff basically in my head. I'm an adult, I'm running a house. So I think a lot of stuff happened then. And that's where I had I felt like I just had this deck of cards dealt to me in life that was just so difficult. But one thing I knew how to do was handle anything I needed. But regardless, still, it was just tough. And that still weighs on you mentally, which is why, although I felt like I dealt with it in a different way than others, as far as being resentful and mad and angry, I still went to therapy. Let me see if there's something I'm missing. I think therapy is good for everybody to go to because you just don't know. You may have made it out okay, but are you really okay?
Because something left from that situation. Maybe not resentment, but even when you spoke earlier about the let me stop because I'm about to go into therapy. Let me stop.
Go ahead. That's what you're here for.
I have to say this is not a 101.
Go on and read me, Doc.
No. She's just crazy. Go ahead and say it, Doc. It's okay.
No, I was just saying that sometimes it's not resentment, but it can be something else. Like you spoke earlier about the lying and the fear from that, or the worry that could have started from that time of constantly being worried because how am I going to get this done? Da 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 da. And then even like you were speaking, Benji, on your brother, there's a state of rebellion that happens after what you're both talking about is rejection. Of just being a child and not being a child that goes into a level of rejection. And it's not the typical of what we think of rejection. Oh, you said no to me. It's still the rejection of just being in the place where you're supposed to be. And that either leads to where I have kids that try to be perfectionists, or they go into that state of rebellion where your brother's like, forget it. It didn't work anyway. Let me just do me and went into that, or whatever the case may be. And then you're still left with some type of hurt that have come from that area. And you're trying to fill a hole, a bullet wound with something, to feel like, okay, that is filled up with, whether it was love from your parents or love in a childhood or whatever you didn't receive, and you're filling that hole up, and that may lead into something else because you're trying to fill that up with something else.
Yeah.
Agreed. And you say that usually it's always it stems from rejection, right? Some type of
not always,
but sometimes
mental health, but it could be a level of rejection when there's rebellion as a result.
Right.
Yeah. With perfectionism, think of someone that has OCD, someone that has body dysmorphia, someone that has eating disorders, anything. Usually around that, it comes from anxiety, right? And anxiety can come from worry and all that can be from perfectionism. Perfectionism now comes from rejection. And then you have the other side of rebellion that usually comes from rejection. So when someone has been rejected, it's like, okay, whatever. I've done it. I've tried anyway. I'd rather self-sabotage because you're going to tell me no. You're going to do whatever anyway, so I might as well do it to myself. I'd rather hurt myself because I know
you're hurt somebody else.
Yeah. Right. Or you're going to hurt me, so I'd rather do it first.
Oh, wow.
Right.
You feel like
that's
people
deep.
that use drugs, so say they went through something traumatic, and then they self-medicated to deal with it, and then that isn't even the case anymore. The situation isn't even the same. Or say like my mom, she was doing drugs, okay? So then say she's no longer that anymore, but then my little brother, he goes to drugs because that's the example, not right in front of him, but he knew. And so then he eventually goes into doing drugs and stuff. And, my parents split and all this other stuff. So he claims that's his reason as to, I won't say claim, because I feel like that was what put him where he was. And so, but that's no longer the situation. Actually, my parents are back together and good and fine. But now he's become that, he still latches on to, that's my reason. Like I'm still this because of that. But what do you like? I don't know. How does a person step out of that when that's not the situation no more?
There's something that's residual that came from that. It's either that or it's become a lifestyle. And sometimes when you're addicted to a drug, you have to have an excuse that's attached to it to make it okay. So it's either, it could be that as well, or it may just be that there was some type of hurt that he received in that time that he's never vocalized or never healed from. Or it could be the opposite of, this is just my lifestyle now, I don't know how to get out of that. So it's just something that he has to now dig to see what is the true reason behind the drug abuse. Because remember the story I told you about addiction of the sexual addict, right? He was being sexually abused or seeing pornography. That's not the life anymore. But yet you're still caught up in that. Why? It's become a part of you. It's become an addiction. When someone's addicted to someone, there's literally the receptor neurotransmitter dopamine. I feel rewarded when I do this.
Right.
When I have this type of trauma, for me not to feel this, to even think about it, I turn to X, Y, and Z, and I feel rewarded. I feel good now. So someone that's on drugs, whether it be sexual, whatever it is, that dopamine is being filled. It feels good. So then whatever,
and those, some of those urges are just temporary dopamine effects, right? So that's why they're constantly coming back for that rush.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like drugs create mental disorders?
Absolutely. Majority of them.
Majority of them are drugs.
If you've been on cocaine, LSD, PCP, the chemicals have now changed. So I have a lot of patients that have been on drugs that are now schizophrenic, paranoia. And then they try, like, they're no longer doing drugs anymore, but the effects of those drugs have changed chemicals.
So I know people that are schizophrenic.
To the brain, correct?
Absolutely. The brain, the personality, the characteristics, they're no longer who they were prior to. Depending on what drug, how long you were on these drugs, the administration, the dosage, all these different things. I know someone that was getting Adderall off the street, and didn't know that it was laced, and now they have schizophrenia.
Right.
So it's so many different things, and even regular going into the dispensary and getting marijuana and don't know. Yes, it was named this. You know, every drug is monkey, whatever, rainbow.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just
crazy.
names. You don't know how that was grown. You don't know who grew it, where it's from, and then you smoke it. And I had a guy that it was laced, or we believe it was laced, and now he has schizophrenia.
Wow.
So it's so many different drugs. If you don't know, if it's not prescription, then yeah, absolutely it can change you.
Because I have, of course, you know, family member. When my mom passed, a few of my uncles went pretty crazy. Like, and when I mean crazy, like they lost it. Like it was a hard thing for them. Of course, I'm young. I'm 8 at the time, so I don't understand it. But one of them went into just a complete breakdown. Got on the drugs. Took him a long time to get off of it. And so I don't know how long it's been since he's been off drugs, but you can still see the residual effect of all the drugs that he took. Although he's a believer now, he's talking God-like, you can still see the after effects on it. So to have that chemical imbalance like going on, like how does that get reversed? Because we know God can, you know, work a miracle, but how does that get reversed when a person has been doing that for 10, 15, 20 years? Like, how does that happen? Because they don't literally went through a whole phase of just destroying themselves.
That's a great question, because a lot of people don't understand this being a Christian or whatnot, because you have the mental health and then you have the church. Just pray about it. God's going to heal you, right? And then you have mental health. No, you need medication now. Let's put the two together. You have the body, the soul, and the spirit. God is going to heal the spirit of the person. That meaning when Adam fell, right? The order of things were supposed to be the spirit, the soul, and the body. But when Adam fell, you know, now it's the body, the soul, and the spirit. When someone goes through something, right? Your spirit, what the Bible says, your spirit is willing, right? Your spirit is strong. But the thing is, whatever you went through, you have broken your soul. So for someone that is in mental health, that is also a Christian, I'm healing your soul. You have now come to Christ and your spirit. That's why he said he's God-like. He knows the word. He's doing all this. But his soul is still broken from the things that have happened. So it's the healing of the soul that needs to happen. So I don't know exactly what he's done so far, that yes, he has come to Christ and now his spirit is willing. Now his spirit is strong. It can move. But the soul is still broken from everything he's been through.
Right. So you can still, that's why you can still see the stutters effects and the residual effects, the mental lapses. Right.
Someone goes through depression and they go to the church, they get deliverance, and that spirit of deliverance, that spirit of depression is gone. The spirit of anxiety is gone. The things that happen while you were depressed is still a residual effect. The soul is still broken. The trauma is still there. You still need to go see someone, and you may need to get on medication to fix the soul. Because think about it like this: your spirit wants to run and do all these things for Christ, but if your soul is broken, which has to surrender to the spirit, how the heck are you going to do those things?
Right.
It's
going to be a challenge.
How are you going to read your word? How are you going to go out there and do these different things if you're still in the state of depression? Although spiritually you're ready, spiritually you're strong, but if you can't surrender to the spirit, how are you going to do that?
Right.
So that's where I come in to guide you in therapy, guide you via medication, because the church and the mental health, they never got along with each other because of the lack of understanding of equilibrium with the body, the soul. Even working out, that's why I'm in wellness too. You have to now have your temple together too, because how are you going to go out there and evangelize and then at the same time be there to lift up other people if you're too tired because you're overweight?
Right.
You're too tired because you're not eating right, or the health reasons. So it's a level of equilibrium. If somebody has gone through trauma, they have to take care of their body, their soul, and your spirit. You can't pick one and everything else is falling short.
You can't stop at just one thing. You done did. No. I think people sometimes want the easy way out. so they don't want to put in the extra work. But yeah, you are a triune being. You're a body, soul, and a spirit. So you're gonna have to take care of all three.
You have to. Something's gonna always be lacking if you don't take the time to be at a place of balance.
Right. Working out helps with the dopamine, right?
And serotonin and your testosterone for the men that is having libido issues. It may just be your weight, right? It helps with all of that. And it's not even just working out, it's eating good. What are you eating? Are you digesting? Oh, I got constipation, I have IBS. What are you eating? Have you got a colon cleanse? There's so many different things. People look at me crazy because I pop vitamins like an old lady. I pop my vitamins. You'll see me with that little thing that has all the morning, afternoon. Yep, pop, 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 pop. Right, I've been popping vitamins all my life. But then my vehicle that I'm trying to use to sustain me for the rest of my life, so I'm doing this for the rest of my life, can help everybody for the rest of my life. Those vitamins keep me up. So where my friends that are similar in age, the knees hurting, the elbows hurting, the ears, all these things are breaking down. If you get a new car, your car is great. Okay, you've been getting the cheap oil change because your car is new. But the older that car get, the higher you got to get to that more expensive oil change because the mileage has been there. Those are the vitamins. But if
you can get the right oil change
from the beginning.
From the beginning. That's true.
Take your
instead of getting a cheap one
from the beginning of time and work out from the beginning of time, so you ain't got to worry about that later. But that car is eventually going to break down. You have one body, one temple. Why not do everything you can to make sure that your body is good? And that's also taking care of the pain from the past. If that's hindering you from reaching your purpose, why not say, you know what? I am tired of being bitter. I am tired of being angry. I am tired of having this burden from the things that my mom did, my brother did from how long ago. Why not solve that now to say it's not about them. I don't condone what they did to me. I don't condone what I did to myself, but I am tired and I'm ready to reach the full potential of my life. Why not take care of that now?
Deliver us right now.
Yes, Lord. See, all right. Don't y'all listen.
No, it's like, why wait? Why wait? Aren't you tired? Whoever I think out there, aren't you tired?
Whoever you are, aren't you tired?
Right, whoever.
You gotta be
Somebody's
tired.
out there. They out there watching. So what helps a person make that decision? What helps a person make that critical decision that I want to change? I want to be better. I want to do something better.
It's just like you made a decision to get on this, or I made the decision to jump on this, right? You guys made a decision to create a podcast. It was a decision. Right. It was just saying, hey, there is something that we could talk about and it's needed. Boom, made a decision. Everything is a choice. You have to choose to say, like you said earlier, I'm tired and I want to move forward. It's all a choice. Just like unforgiveness and forgiveness is a choice. It's not an emotion. I think a lot of us here in the States, because in Nigeria, it's like, I got to do what I got to do. It's not about the emotions. Out here in America, we have become so sensitive. Everything is about how I feel. I feel like doing it. I feel like working out. I feel like being nice. I feel my emotions. Take the emotions out of it and just make being, like you said, it's a critical decision that, look at life. Okay, so if this thing may be stopping me, I'm making a choice. A conscious decision to close these doors for my well-being and my future. I'm making a choice to stop eating this thing that may be killing me so I can be better for myself to reach my full potential. And
stop eating them honey buns, Ken.
Hey, that was 3 years ago. I'm good.
He made a choice.
Hey.
It's about, and I think a lot of people lack purpose. You lack a goal. You lack where you're going in life. So you're literally the walking dead. So you're just making these emotional decisions because you have no light to where you're going. So if you have no purpose, that means every day you're just going through the motions. But if you had a purpose, now you're like, my life is supposed to look like this. Okay, I need to get things in order. Oh, nope, that got to go because that does not align with my purpose. Oh,
right.
That doesn't align with my purpose, right? If you
without a vision, the people perish. So if you don't have a clear idea of what you want to do, I know Ken is a hooper. So Ken, when you go out, Ken, you had to shoot 500 shots a day, right? Like to get the stroke right?
Yeah, I have a whole setup that I do. I go in, I start right under the basket. I shoot, 10 shots from each side of the lane. The little markers on the side of the lane where you stand with your free throw. I shoot 10 from each shot and bank shots, and then I just work my way around. So yeah, I get up to about 500 each session when I go shoot, and that's just what I'm saying, how I do it.
Can I ask the question?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do that?
For me at this point, it's therapeutic for me, right? It's something that I do that can take me away from, everybody in the world, my family, my kids, work. It's just me and the basketball and the goal, right? I can think, I can just relax, or I don't have to think about anything at that point, right? I can just be in there just shooting and not have a thing in the world on my mind. It's just therapeutic for me. Like I said, it's me time. As they say, it's me time. So that's what I use it as now.
So and that's like your boundary. And I'm sure you don't let everybody come on that end of the court to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my area. This is what I'm going to do. Don't bother me, that type of thing. So, I mean, I think that all of that matters when it comes to making those decisions to whether you want to change or whether you want to do something different. Stick to your guns and make that thing happen because it's important. It'll help you.
Yeah. I was going to say, Ken, in that, where you find, basically is saying that this is where I find peace, right? So in that peace, does that add on to your daily life for you to perform at your best in whatever else areas that you do in life?
I can tell when I go do that, when I actually go to the gym and shoot around, mentally after that, my mental clarity is a whole lot better once I've done that. So, and it didn't even start in my adulthood. Actually, I'm not going to even lie to you. Now that I think about it, that started as a coping mechanism for me as a kid, right? When things would be going on at home or things that, I wasn't happy with certain situations in life, I would go out back into my goal in the backyard and I would shoot around as a kid. And so I just continued to do that as life would go. So from 10 to 43, I'm still doing the same exact thing that I was doing back then, and for a different reason now. It's not really a coping now. I use it as just having a me time, just being able to go and enjoy something that I love doing.
Right. I'm guilty of that, but not shooting around.
But
I'll pull up and first of all, Benji, we're not gonna get started. No, I'll pull up. I'll sit in the car for like 30, 45 minutes. Like, I'll just sit in the car. I might be thinking or whatever, but it helps me just, I'm about to come in the house and I don't know. It helps me have just reset my mind, and we have the kids.
You ain't got to make no biscuits, so you straight.
No, because I come in and you sometimes will come home and you're like, I expect they're not gonna have the chores done because they, whatever. So I'm gonna come in and on 10, but I don't want to. So I'll be like.
But see, it's funny that you mentioned. It's funny that you mentioned that, because it's like those type of things that you do now, and we do things as adults that we look back at things our parents did, and now we realize that may be why mom used to sit out in the car for 30 or 45 minutes when we would hear the car pull up. And we would look out in the driveway and we'd be like, why mama just sitting there? Why she don't just come in the house? I'm hungry. I want some food. She come on in and cook. Mama trying to decompress from whatever she had to go through at work. And she don't want to bring that burden from work into the house. So she's giving herself time to bring that down. So when she comes in the house, she don't go off on everybody because y'all ain't wash the dishes. Yeah. So, but it's a lot of... Yeah, it's a lot of things for me. Like I said, at 27, I had to sit down with my dad and apologize, right? Because as a teenager, I was a hard head. Like, it was a point where me and my dad were nose to nose, right? I was that upset with him because I just didn't understand the decisions he was making for me, because I felt like I knew what I was doing. But at 27 versus 17, when we were nose to nose, that 10-year gap, I had 2 sons by the time I was 27. So I understood it from a parent now. You're making hard decisions, you know what I'm saying, as a dad. So I understand now. Everything ain't going to make everybody happy, but it's for your good, right? Yeah. So I had to go back and apologize. He didn't ask me to do that. I needed to do that for me, to let my dad know, look, Dad, you know what? I acted a fool. I was an idiot. I was young. I was wilding out. But I understand now, and I appreciate what you've done for me, and that helped me become a better dad, because I had to learn how to deal with my sons a little bit differently from my own experiences.
Right. Mine was always cooking. When I learned how to cook, that became like my thing. Yeah. So like I can get in there and it's like a whole like thing, going shopping, picking up the food, creating these concepts, creating these ideas, getting in the kitchen, putting it together. Like I don't care where I'm at. I could be tired, whatever. If I get a creative thought about cooking something, making something, it just turns this excitement on that's like, it's unexplainable. And then when you get in there and you create it and you make it and you see it come together, and then when you pass it over and let somebody taste it, and then they are like, yo, like this was fire. Like that whole experience in itself for me became the thing for me. So I can totally relate to everybody else on that.
But Benji, what do you do when somebody tastes something you cook and say, nah, this ain't it?
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. One time I did a huge dinner for a family of, I think it was like 10, somewhere around there, and they wanted a soul food dinner. And I was so geeked. I was so happy about it. You know what I'm saying? It was like early in my catering business thing. So I'm like, I over-seasoned the chicken and I didn't pull the feathers off my chicken. So they was like, this was good, that was good, that's good, but you put too much. And I promise you, it had me back in the kitchen re-going over my entire recipe. That's how I handle, whether it be rejection or anything like that. I always look inward, and I've always done that since I was a kid. I've never tried to push the blame out, or if I made a mistake, like I would always go back to the drawing board. So and it's rare that I get people saying that it wasn't good, because I've perfected now most of my recipes that I have. And I'll try it out myself before I kick it out. But sometimes in some cases, you'll meet people who want something cooked for you, like instantaneous. And so you just kind of go off of what you're feeling at the moment and then touch it a little bit. Like if you're cooking a whole steak and they don't like their steak a certain way, or you don't know, you just you get two. You make sure you cook another one so you know how to do it. There's always a way around it so that you're always prepared. So you can kind of work your way around.
No, I do this.
Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's just, I don't know if it's a perfectionist type of thing, but so for example, this was funny. I had this idea to make blueberry muffin cakes, right? These breakfast cakes with like the turkey bacon, the egg, everything inside the muffin, right? So I'm in there making them joints, and I forgot to put the oil in them joints. I forgot to put the oil. So I'm all excited, I'm all happy, and I'm the first person to taste that joint. And the first thing I said was like, this is nasty.
Wow, this ain't it.
I didn't even like it, but I passed it over for everybody else to taste it. And they could tell that it wasn't moist, because I like everything to be moist, but you have to put the right amount of oil in that joint. And I was pissed. So I went back, recreate the recipe, because I ain't gonna post it if it's nasty and it don't look. I ain't gonna do it. I am not gonna put it out there and be like, yo, this was fire. Somebody gonna ask for it. And if that joint nasty, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be pissed off at myself. So that's just kind of how I do it. But some people will tell you it's good, and you'd be like, man, no, I didn't like that. That wasn't good.
All right. So I guess as I was mentioning earlier, as a child, some things happen to me as far as like my dad showing love. He showed love by paying the bills and things, doing things that dad did. But when I saw other young men, after a football game, their dad give them a hug, grab them and tap their helmet or kiss them on the forehead. Like, I didn't see any of that. I didn't get any of that. And, for me, it was odd seeing that too, because, I wasn't used to that. But as an adult, my ideas, of what a dad is or what a father does changed so that I could be a different dad for what my sons may need. So what I got next on the list, as an adult, family hurts you different ways from what they did when you were a kid. Family can still hurt you as an adult, and they still go about it, different ways. And one thing on this list that is funny to me is it probably isn't funny, but it's funny to me because I hear it a lot, is the harsh judgment and criticism. And listed under that as the example is, every time you got that one auntie, when you see it, girl, when you get married, when you gonna find you somebody? Like, that's not the move, people. If you that auntie, if you that cousin, stop asking folks that. Stop asking when you gonna have a baby, when you gonna give me a grandchild, when you gonna have me a niece or nephew. If that person wants to do that, they're gonna do that. Stop asking them that,
please.
My grandma used to be like, "Ooh, you been
Africans have it worse."
She felt that one right there.
Stop.
Right?
She said, "Please, don't nobody ask it no more, okay?"
Listen, kids ain't what they cracked up to be. I don't care what nobody say. You listen. I love mine, but listen, yeah. So don't let them rush you, doctor. Don't. I mean,
well, they out. Go ahead, doc.
No, I'm done.
Well,
she like nah.
Well,
they also ask you stuff like, "You still got that same job?"
That's what I was gonna say. I said my grandma. I remember one time she told my niece, "You been eating, huh?"
That's tough. That's tough. You know what?
You been eating,
and they don't know how deep that is. Like when they make.
You know what? Yeah, but you know what? For them, I've discovered for them that's just a way of life. Like we always talk about, the old people, they don't have no filter. They just ask you whatever because they gonna lie to you. I got an uncle like that, and
eating, huh?
his criticism actually fueled me as a kid because I knew when I went to his house, he was gonna critique me. He was gonna look at my tennis shoes. He was gonna look at how I walked. What I got on, like he gonna look at if I gained some weight or if I've been working out. Like he was gonna critique me, so that drove me to be like, you know what, I gotta make sure I'm on point, because when Unc see me, I want him to be like, okay, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there was times when I was. Yeah, see, like you said, the belonging, because when I was eating those honey buns, he definitely addressed it. When I showed up, he was like, "Dang, nephew, you been eating, huh?" I'm like,
see, that you been eating. That's their favorite
line. That hurt. Eating, huh? It hurt deep. And it was like, okay, you know what, honey buns, y'all gotta go. Cause I can't have my aunt, you know what I'm saying? My aunt, you know what I'm saying, talking to me like this.
You had to make a decision to let the honey buns go.
I mean,
being funny.
Nah, I mean that's true. It was true. It was like that, and the fact that, like I mentioned before,
it's really busting up over here. Like
I know.
Nah, I mean it's true. I had to make a decision, and it's also the fact of when I played in the basketball league, they put the game on YouTube. So of course, after the game was on YouTube, I went to the YouTube to check out the game, and I looked at myself. I'm like, dang, Ken, them honey buns is getting to you, brother.
Honey bun is running on the court.
Like honey buns is
maybe running off the court. Burning off.
I was running down the court. I had the glaze from the honey bun on my forehead because
you was sweating glaze.
It was the glaze.
That's funny. That was for sure coming out your pores.
Yeah, it was crazy. But you know what? Again,
licking it.
You were still dropping buckets though, wasn't you?
Yeah, but it was like I was dropping buckets. I was dropping buckets, but it was detrimental to me because, like, after the game, I felt terrible because my body was in such bad shape, right? I would put myself through that for that hour or so of that game, but after the game, it was like, oh my God. Like Monday and Tuesday, it took me till Wednesday before my body was like back to normal.
Wow. See, listen, I ain't never had them problems, so I can't relate.
Yeah, you're a little fella.
Right.
But listen, that's man, okay. Your time is coming, brother.
It's gonna be
listen, I'm older than everybody on this show, so I just want y'all to know I'm gonna need y'all. Well, Dr. O probably in the best shape of all of us on this show.
I don't know.
Not probably. It's a fact.
No probably.
It's a fact. She definitely is.
There is no probably. I had Jack in the Box for breakfast today.
Benji had Arby's today, so
listen, man. Listen, I stopped by that joint. It was horrible, man. I made a decision and it wasn't a good decision. So Arby's, your days are numbered. I thought your curly fries would be
no good. No one's counting Arby's days. That's where you make a mistake. Like no one is counting.
It was horrible.
Okay,
but you've been eating, huh? You've been eating, huh?
Okay, but check this out though. The next one on the list is exploitation. I think this is a huge one as an adult because we all have family members that try to use you, try to take advantage of you because of what you do or who you are or what type of resources you have. They might not even talk to you any other time, but as soon as they need something that you can do, your phone is gonna ring and they're gonna, hey, cuz, y'all doing okay? Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. Then you like, uh-oh.
I had two incidents of that recently. So one, my family has owned property in Texas for forever. I had no idea about it, nor did my older brother about it. So just out of the blue, one of my uncles just calls me out of the blue. Benji, I need your signature. Now, by this time, Ken, I've been working on my brand, marketing my name, that type of stuff, right? So, I know a little bit about branding by this time, right? So I'm like, what you need my signature for? Man, come to find out, there's been property that was passed down to us since my mom passed. We was 8 years old, bro. So it's been sitting there, right? Been sitting there forever. Had no idea what it was or whatever, right? And crazy enough, this dude tried to get me to sign over the whole property out of our name so that they can sell it. And I'm sitting there like, what? Like, I knew something was fishy when he called me out of the blue. But I'm like, man, this makes no sense. But this is what family will do to you. And then they get mad at you when you don't agree with what they are about to do. It's like, no, why would I sell property that's in the family name? It's been in the family name since forever. It's land, it's property, it's all it is. And it just doesn't make sense. But it's so easy for family members to justify and try to manipulate the way that they see that it should be done. But when you stand up and become and set those boundaries, man, you be like, nah, like that's stupid. And they don't like to hear you say that. Like, why would you do that? You selling property for crackhead wages. Like that don't even make sense. And they don't like to hear that. So it just, it just pisses you off sometimes when you get older and you find out that people been doing some weird, shady stuff for 30, 40, 50 years. And unless you got the balls to say something, man, you'll just let anything fly.
Okay. I got a question for Doc before we get ready to wrap up. Doc, I think one of the biggest things that we need to know here, if you can help us, is how to set boundaries. Because I think this is the main issue with all of this stuff, with family being able to hurt us, is their access to us because we don't set boundaries with these people. Like, can you talk to us for a minute about setting boundaries?
Yeah. I think when you're setting boundaries, it's a level of selfishness that has to come, because when boundaries are overstepped, it's because of either guilt or fear, or this person did this for me, so I got to do this for them. But you have to now think inward in the sense of your own well-being and how it affects you and everything else and everyone else around you. So when it comes to family members, especially like mom, dad, you have to put your foot down to the sense of, is this healthy for me? Right? It goes back to that level of equilibrium. If you're trying to reach your potential and your purpose and something is blocking it from you doing that, that's something that has to be cut off.
Right.
And you have to not feel that guilt from doing that, from being selfish. So it's everything is honestly a decision. It may not be an easy decision, but it's a decision that has to be made, because you got to think about your future and you got to think about your purpose and the things that you're doing. If someone's affecting any of you guys and you guys have children, right, and you have a job, and the people that are now connected to you at like work, or let me use myself for instance, because I'm quick to set boundaries and my family knows that, because I deal with so many people's lives every single day, whether it be in family practice or in mental health. I tell my family, look, the moment, or even friends, the moment that you start to have a disruption in my life where it becomes like those racing thoughts or overthinking of something, that now when I'm in appointments with patients, I can't even hear them because I'm thinking about the argument we had or the pettiness from whatever situation. I have to cut you off because now it's affecting their lives and it's not fair to them. Right. So now I think about it like that. It's a boundary that has to be set up, not only for me, but the people that I'm connected to.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have children and you have a job, are you able to do those things at 100% because of another human being that is causing you disruption? Then that has to be cut off.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an easy decision.
I agree.
Yeah, it sounds easy.
It sounds easy, but I know it's hard, of course. Especially when
it becomes easier when you start respecting yourself and your well-being. And the being the selfish part, like my thing is I'll just dip. Like, oh, you want to play these games? Okay, all right.
But that's not healthy.
No, that's not healthy.
It's communication that
you're running.
Though.
It is, and I totally get it.
That's a defense mechanism.
As you get older, you do have to stand, be present, and communicate. But as a kid, when you know the person has a seniority rule over you, you know you're not going to get through them anyway, because as a kid, you don't know how to really articulate what you're trying to say to that person anyway. And so as a result, what I did was I was just like, I'll stay away. Y'all can have it. You get what I'm saying? So that was always my thing. But like I said, as you get older, you do realize stand there and be present. But now I'm able to stand there and be present because I know what I officially like now. And I know what I officially don't.
You must have been told that you don't have a voice when you was younger. Like
no, it's just when you're around a lot of demonstrative women who this is what they do. They have to dominate the conversation. They have to do everything. They have to do this. They have to do that. Like they were your aunts. Like, so you ain't finna win that argument. No way. So what do? You get what I'm saying? Like they paying the bills, they doing everything, they handling all the pressure. What you gonna do as a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid? What you gonna say?
I was speaking up.
But as you started to get older and you started to date women that may not have been exactly like them, but an argument triggered that, did you honestly just say, all right, bye?
You run.
Hell yeah.
So that's domestication. That was domestication. And you said that now you don't do that because you know what you like. So now when you make that comment, you have to think about, as a child, was that where your focus, like it wasn't that you're saying, I know what I like with my aunt or whoever was in your life, but it's saying that I didn't like confrontation. And like she said, it was, no one had to tell you that, but you felt like you did not have a voice. So what you did was shut down.
Yeah.
And so even with women that may have wanted to just communicate, the moment that their tone got a little louder or you couldn't get a word in, you got triggered to, that's my aunt, shut down.
Oh, no doubt. And it was like, you know what? Yeah, we ain't finna have this conversation. Yeah. Like I ain't going there with you, because honestly, those conversations from my experiences led to nowhere. And I feel like if ever I'm at a point with an individual where we have to raise our voices, no bueno. Like I don't want to live that life. I don't need to live that life. We don't need to argue. Two adults, we can actually have a decent conversation. And that's where I draw the line. So if we can sit down and have a decent conversation, we good. But if we can't, and because you can't bring your level down, and then you feel it's demeaning because I ain't trying to argue with you like that. It's like I ain't finna engage in that. And that's just how
Benny, you talking about a specific situation.
He sure is.
You just
for sure. Like I
sure is. Yeah.
Well, I don't date no more. Let's just be clear. But yes, I can bring out the whole
Benji, there's been a couple of times we've said therapy is okay, and I just want to say that one more time.
Okay.
We gotta let the doc go.
Okay, yeah, Doc's gotta go. She's got another move she's got to make. Doc, we appreciate you joining us as usual. Before you get out of here, can you give the people your information and where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. I am on all the platforms. It's the same. It's at Dr. Chichi RX. So that's DrChiChirx. I also have my own practice called The Perfect Prescription Medical Services, where we do mental health and wellness and holistic approaches. And that's at www.theperfectrx.com. And I also have my own ministry, and that's 40 Days and 40 Nights, which is also on Instagram as well. Call me, beat me. You know how to reach me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us, Doc. We'll go ahead and let you go. Doc's busy as usual.
Thank you, guys.
But thank you.
Benny, here's a hug.
Give it to him. Take it.
You're not gonna take it.
You better take the hug. You're supposed to hug. Hug her.
You better take that.
My baby gives me hugs. She hooks me up.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you,
guys. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Always glad to have you on. I mean, listen, I told you, Patricia, I've been in therapy, girl. Like I can stand there and look you in your face and be like,
maybe it wasn't the right therapist.
Yes,
yeah, Benji, I'm feeling the same way Patricia's feeling, because you can tell with the way that you speak about certain things that it's still affecting you.
Yes. In the moment when he's speaking about it, it's affecting.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Well, I wouldn't say it affects me. It's something that, because I don't have the problem at all in my relationship. It's not something that is like a lingering thing. You get what I'm saying?
Resolve it, or did you cover it up?
Huh?
Did you actually resolve these feelings that occurred, or did you cover it up, or did it move somewhere else?
No, I think feelings can be resolved no matter what space you're in, as long as you're upfront with them. See, when you have to hide it, like I think I posted this some time ago, if you always have to display strength to whoever you're around and they can never see you weak, I think that's a problem. To be in a space to where you don't have to be strong all the time, to me, is healthy. If everybody around you expects you to be Superwoman all the time, Superman all the time, to me, that's unhealthy. And I think that's the spaces that many of us strictly operate in. We have to be all things to all people all the time, every moment. And you can never just be like, man.
But that's not on those people. That's on you as an individual to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, but if you're in a space to where that person makes you feel comfortable, even in your weakness, it makes it very easy for you to be vulnerable and express why I don't talk this way or why I don't do it that way.
True.
And that, to me, comes from that atmosphere being created from a woman is, to me, man, is second to none. Like, absolutely. It's the best feeling in the world. And I think any man that's with a woman where that guy and that woman can actually be in that space to y'all pillow talk or whatever you want to call it, however, and y'all having legit conversations. You ain't got to cover up what your feelings and your issues are. This woman will pray with you about it, whatever it may be. To me, that is healthy as hell. And to be in that space, I promise you, is very therapeutic. Mm-hmm. So that to me is how you actually deal with the issues. Because even if you go see a therapist, you're going to have to open up to that person.
True.
Right. So when you open up to that person, again, that's on you to be open, but also it's them creating that vulnerability space. And then, of course, not weaponizing it and all of that. But to be in that space, I give my lady full credit for that. Like, she's heard my weaknesses. I've talked about them to her. Things I accept, I don't accept, all of that. And it's dope to just sit there and have these conversations about certain things. And the response is baby, I understand. I get it. I feel you. Let's pray about it. And that to me is dope. So
So it's a question, because being able to be vulnerable and having a safe space and being able to be emotional is great, so that you can feel safe, a safe space, which is rare for men to have. It's more of a commonality when it comes to women to have. Right. That's great that you have that. But now that you're able to talk about these past traumas and things, like, what are you doing about it? Like, that's what I'm saying. So when the healing and the fixing and the changing, like, speaking about it is great. Being able to talk about it and feel safe and vulnerable is great. But it's unlearning and fixing and changing and actually figuring out what the actual problem is.
Right.
Where are you doing that at?
Well, that comes from several places. What you now give your ear to, because I believe, honestly, we are the sum total of what we give our ears to. The things you listen to, the things you engage in. I think that all of that plays a part in becoming new, becoming different mindset, different perspective. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to make the conscious effort that I no longer want to do that. So you have to turn some resistance on to a lot of things. And again, that's where me being like closed off helps me focus on myself. Like, I'm cool with staying in my house, picking up my word, listening to something healthy. Shoot, I did it from 19 till I was about 35, 36 years old. Like, it's not something that's new to me. It's something I can, get back into and do with ease. When it comes to working on me, I have no problem with that. Again, like, when I need to do it for me and me personally, I'm a savage about it because I love me some me. And
clearly,
if I'm bleeding on the people that are around me, that's an issue for me. And I don't like to do that. So for me, I like everyone around me to be happy, to flourish, and to grow. And when you get the reports of, listen, the moment you walked into this atmosphere, this changed, that comes from a product of you working on you personally, not bleeding on other people, not leading while bleeding. Like, I don't want to be in that space to where you're leading women, men, and you're bleeding also. No, I want to be able to be in a space to where vulnerability is allowed, but also accountability. I'm conscious about, okay, my bad. That shouldn't have happened that way. And you don't have to tell me. I would do it myself because, again, I like atmosphere. I like peace because I come from hell. I come from chaos, so I don't want it. You ain't got to tell me 5, 6, 7 times to let go of a thing. That's not good for you, bro. And it's self-evaluation. Okay, you know what? That totally makes sense. And there you go. It's dropped. It's gone. I don't have no issues about it. So,
okay. So we appreciate that breakdown for us, Brother Benji. You know what I'm saying? That was very poignant in the words that you selected, and we appreciate it. No, seriously though.
Oh yeah.
Because I think as you stated, you being transparent enough to just say the things that you said is huge for a man to be able to to speak in a public arena about these things and have no issues or qualms about it. Because, like, again, all too often we were taught to just, kind of keep it to yourself because we looked at it as somebody knowing our weakness, right? Somebody knowing that and somebody being able to attack that. But the biggest thing that I can take away from, like, the stuff that I've, the stuff that we talk about tonight and stuff that I've learned is, in those moments of weakness, you realize your strengths. You know what I'm saying? And you have to notate that the things that, you know what I'm saying, you are good at, the things that you are strong with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And try to focus in and hone in on those. But before we wrap up, the last piece of notes I had are some reasons why families become toxic. So I want people to understand, when you have these things in your family, these are probably, reasons why your family has become toxic. And just like Doc was saying, finding the root cause of the toxicity or the trauma, trying to find the root to it, because that's the only way you can figure out or find a solution to any of these things that are occurring in your family or things that have occurred in your life that your family has caused. Right. So this list includes substance abuse, a soft parent, or enabling family member.
What you said? A soft parent?
A soft parent just letting the kid run rampant.
Okay, yeah, do everything right.
No discipline.
No discipline.
Right.
Chronically sick family members. Those cause big issues in families, because a lot of times it's who's going to take care of them. And then when that person does actually pass away, then it's, okay, who gets what? Because I took care of them more than you did. Those cause big issues as well. Yeah. Mentally and personality disorders. That's a big thing too, because a lot of times people in our family have mental health disorders or personality disorders, and they're undiagnosed, and we just write it off as, well, she crazy, he crazy, but it can't just be that.
Right.
We can't help them figure it out, but maybe we can try to help them get to a point to where they realize that they have an issue and they can go see somebody for some help. So instead of just writing it off and saying they crazy. Unexpected.
That's what we tend to do most of the time. Yeah. So-and-so's crazy.
100% of the time. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's the first answer.
Yeah. So
I mean, if they're crazy, they're crazy. But
well, we can't call them crazy. They have an issue that needs to
be diagnosed.
Yes.
We got better terms nowadays.
Yes, we have the correct terms that we need to be using.
Right. Right.
All right. Unexpected deaths or unfortunate life events. We know those can turn a family upside down, and when stuff like that happens, the blame gets going. Who's at fault? And things of that nature. So that can tear a family apart. And some families just have a history of family dysfunction from previous generations, and it just never let go. If grandma or grandpa did something, or great grandma did something, and people can just continue to perpetuate it, and you wonder why you don't talk to your cousin over here on this side. It's because y'all grandmas don't get along and they have issues, so now you have an issue of beef with that cousin because y'all grandmas can't get along. What if
you tried and gave that family member a chance and found out why?
Exactly.
You understand now.
Exactly.
I mean that's a risk you take. That's a risk you take.
Because I seen the light.
Like they say, F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a likely outcome, but that's a risk we take.
At least I tried.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there you go. At least you can live with that. At least you tried. And the last one on the list is absent parents.
That's
absent huge. Parents. For me, like I said, I can't speak to this because my parents are still, I talk to them almost every day, and they've always been there for me. But somebody like with Benji's situation, where he had to grow up in another situation because his parents were not there for one reason or another. Like, that was difficult for me. And even knowing Benji as a kid and him telling us what happened, or his mom got killed and stuff as a kid, like, I can't fathom that. I can't understand it. I can't process it because my mom was right here. Right. Yeah. So when I think we were playing football in the street one day, and Benji told me that, and it broke my heart because I'm like, dang, this ain't my fam over here. His mama, I just thought he was living with his cousins. Because sometimes, you know, like for a period of time, I lived with my cousins because my mom she worked in surgery. She had these weird hours. So I thought it was that situation because that was my situation.
Yeah.
Right.
But when he told me what his situation was, man, that was like, dang. But as a kid,
see that stuff we was still trying to process it even at that age. We still didn't even understand it.
And just the fact that Benji was talking about it the way he was talking about it as a kid, it was mind blowing to me because I'm like, and then as we got older and as, you know what I'm saying, I see the stories and he tells me about these things now as an adult, it's like, dang, man, that's heavy.
Yeah.
That is heavy, crazy, man. Super heavy.
Yeah.
You gotta, man, set your boundaries, man. Like, I don't know whatever it takes.
That's the key.
Set your boundaries, man, because
absolutely
people will step over those quick.
We all have our own stories, our past, our own traumas, our own hurt, pain, and daily struggles that we're trying to get through. And then we have these people that demand whatever it is they feel like they need from us or want from us. We have to have boundaries set. And with everybody, even our closest family members, we need to protect our peace.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like Doc said,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, the boundaries, people. We have to set boundaries, and as tough as it is, sometimes we gotta set boundaries with our kids too. We gotta let them know. Hey,
all mine know is to ask for money.
Yeah, look.
No, mine get put on mute if you keep texting me and won't leave me alone. You get muted because I'm protecting my peace right now. Your health and wealth is just fine.
Yeah. Hey, my mama hit me with it sometimes. Shout out to my mom. She tunes into the show all the time. She'll hit me with, I call her and she got something going on and she busy. She be like, you okay? All right, I'm gonna call you back real quick. Off the line.
She protected her peace. She said, good. All right.
Hey,
gotta go.
I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Mama, I love you, but
she got something going on. She busy. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think as a kid, you know what I'm saying, even as an adult child, you know, of my parents, like when I call them, I'm expecting them to make some time for me because I'm son. Right. Like, I'm calling, make time.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? But it ain't like that. And your children have to understand that. Like, you got a life too.
You leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your children have to understand you got a life too. You know, and I tell my kids all the time, you know Dad, you don't know Ken. Dad and Ken is different. As you get older, you'll know Ken more and more because I can let you know more and more about who Ken is. But right now, you just know Dad, and you know they're two different people.
Yeah.
I have a past. I did come from things. Like, things did happen. You don't know everything about me.
Right.
So, you know,
and that's a crazy thing though, but it's so real. Like, your kids don't. They only see they only know a portion of you. That's crazy.
That's a fact.
There's a certain way you got to raise them, and you have to trickle in things and only give them what they need in these moments of time and where they are relevant. And then as they get older, then you do let down some of these walls on these other stories that they don't know or may not have known exactly what it was, and it might help them later for whatever it is that they need. So you can't just give it to them. They can't even process it.
I don't want my kids knowing them ghosts. You know, I don't want them to turn into Tariq.
Oh Lord,
St.
yeah, we're gonna need a little Tariq out here.
You gotta let them. You gotta let them grow up and then tell them this is what Dad was doing back then. Like, now that it's over with.
What age, Ken? What age?
Because some stories you just don't tell them.
I had to have that hard conversation with her.
Yeah, some stuff you just don't tell them.
There's some mamas that don't need to tell their kids she slid down the pole for forever. She just needs to tell them she hustled.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, and we're gonna wrap up. Some of these mamas today ain't gonna be able to hide it because they put it out there on social media.
Everything's on social media.
And the footage is out there. So the kids are gonna run across the footage
virtually to the show.
Yeah. So the kids gonna run across that footage of mom twerking. You know, it's some people right now that you know, they've been putting out the footage of Freaknik and Kappa Beach Party from back in the day, those VHS tapes.
Ooh.
And that people are finding their parents and some of their grandparents on this footage.
Not the grandma busting it wide.
Hey,
Some of our aunties was at the Freak Nick.
Let me let you know that you got to remember those Luke dancers, those ladies who were Luke.
No, yeah, Uncle Luke.
They're grandmothers now.
That was the grandma.
They're grandmas now. So they're 50s. You know what I'm saying? Some a little, mid to early 50s. So those are grandmothers. So imagine the pain of you searching the web for twerking, and you run across footage of your mama or your grandma. That's wild.
On a handstand.
Whew.
With her cheeks out.
Double cheeked up on a Sunday afternoon.
Hitting that left, right.
All right, y'all. We're gonna get ready to get up out of here.
Moms had buns though back in the day though. Moms had buns.
That's kind of weird, bro.
People
it is. It is, but it's sad.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Boundaries, people. Remember, boundaries. If you take nothing else from the show today, remember to have boundaries with all your family, relatives, and friends. Some need more boundaries than others. Some need higher boundaries, higher gates to climb to be able to assess you. You can't give everybody access to you. That's another thing, right? Some people don't deserve that much access to you, so you have to be, aware of that as well. But before we get up out of here, you already know we're gonna give our people a chance to say some words and let you know where to find them on social media. Trisha Michelle, talk to the people.
Boundaries for sure. No one is immune to boundaries. So just because it's your mama, just because it's your kid, no, put the boundaries up. If you need them, protect your peace for sure. And I always say, like, we come from a culture that, therapy is like, I ain't gonna know therapist, but sometimes you just don't know. So don't knock it, try it. You never know what you'll uncover. Like, one big thing I always say is that Jay-Z went to therapy not even knowing he needed to go, and found out all kind of things about himself, and came out even better than what he already thought was great. So you just never know. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram right there, Trisha Michelle _YT. Fiyah Session every Tuesday. So Facebook, YouTube, y'all know where to find us. That is where you can find me at and us.
Facts. So y'all stay out her DM. Stay out of.
I've been eating.
Wow.
I'm always eating. My grandma let me tell you. She said, "You know what you are? You a stallion." I said, "Girl."
You know what? That's a Southern thing. We have this conversation on social media all the time because people who are not from the South don't understand. When they say a stallion, they say a stallion, the male horse. So you saying she's a man? Nah, man, that's just what we call thick women. Yeah, I don't know who said that, but if you see a stallion, the way a stallion hindquarters are, that's very reminiscent of a thick woman. So I mean, we ain't looking at no males and nothing like that. We just looking at the thickness of that lady. Yes. So, but that's what it is. Benji Banks, talk to the people.
Oh man, it's been great, man. It's been dope. I'm glad we had this show tonight. Yeah, man, it's just been amazing, man. A lot of great things, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of dope events, and a lot of stuff in the works. So just grateful. Y'all keep tuning in, man. Like it's getting better and better and better. So just keep tuning in, keep supporting, keep looking out for us. I mean, keep sending those topics in, keep sending those questions, keep hitting that YouTube, man. Keep supporting us. We appreciate it, man. Y'all know y'all can find me. Benji Banks. I ain't hard to find. But that's what Primetime say. That's what he say. We ain't hard to find, man. We trying to be everywhere. So support your boys. Support Trisha. I know y'all be all over her Instagram, but it's
thanks.
Right. Go buy some bundles from her. Go get your hair done. Hair at Trisha Michelle.
Or buy your girl that you probably cheating on some bundles.
Why you gotta be cheating on her? Why you gotta be cheating?
Well, I mean, see how they do. See how she do.
They don't have to be, but if they in my DMs.
Maybe they just practicing.
They just practicing
to cheat.
Go and tell on them.
It's not cheating. It's shooting the shot. They practicing shooting the shot.
They just shooting the shot. It's okay.
Practice.
Okay.
You talking about practice?
Don't go ahead. Go on and tell on him.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay.
No.
Nah. Nah.
Right.
She don't even care that much to tell them.
They don't get answered anyway. It's just funny.
They left on red.
They don't even get read.
Oh wow. That's even worse.
I just see it and I'll be like, somebody deleted, unsent some stuff today because I
that is terrible.
And they
see you unsend it, okay?
Oh my God. Fellas,
y'all feelings getting hurt out there. Come on.
Terrible.
She already told y'all she got a man. Leave the girl alone, man. I tried to tell y'all that months ago. Y'all hard-headed. Leave the girl alone.
They don't care because you know how they go. Oh, you got a man.
They keep trying until they feel a little space. But
so you're saying there's a chance?
Men are persistent.
Not like on Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
No.
So you're saying there's a chance? I mean, listen, hey, guys are gonna be guys. So
facts. All right, y'all.
Worse. That's the funny part.
Women are worse. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, they pretty terrible.
Women want something, they do the same thing.
I know they be hitting on you. I know they do.
I'm not just talking about me. I'm just talking about they just as bad when women try to act like they don't be out here thirsty. They be thirsty.
Okay, I gotta say this. You probably don't know this because she probably didn't say nothing to you. But at the sipping paint, one of the homies I had there, his wife came up to me and was like, "Yo, like who is that with the?" I forgot what color hair you had that night, and it had me dying laughing, man. I was, yo, so I was like, oh, and she was with her dude. Her dude was there that night, and
trying to get you.
It was hilarious. So I know it happened. So
trying to get you in some throuple action. All right, y'all.
It's all right, Patricia.
Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. All right.
It's okay. It's all right. You know, as you expand, as you grow, you're gonna meet some interesting people.
Oh, I'm not offended by it. Everyone loves me.
Facts.
I mean,
all right.
What you want us to say to that?
Nothing.
Accept it.
Yep.
No, we'll never accept that.
All right, let it go, Benji.
Not a bad Benji.
All right, y'all. Y'all already know y'all can catch me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAH Session and we'll pop right up. Make sure you go to their YouTube page, like and subscribe. Go to the Facebook page. We're over 1K on the Facebook page. Finally, we're over almost at 400K on the YouTube page. We're building, we're growing. Y'all continue to help us and support us and share, like and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. Y'all know we love y'all. Tune in next week. We got another dope topic coming for you. We got some more dope interviews coming this season. Just stay tuned. If you follow those sites, then you won't miss a thing. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Y'all already know how we do it. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace.
Deuces.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.